Hey, Big Brother fans. All right, you asked and I'm delivering. Let's talk about the BB27 finale and aftermath. It's Belinda. And hey, please subscribe, even though the season is over. If you want more on Big Brother, I'm going to have some other content throughout the year that you might like. First, oh my gosh, Ashley winning that part 2 final HOH when Vince blew his lead, that big lead, was insane. I also was so excited that they showed his breakdown on the episode. And I mean, Frankie Grande, the epitome of over-the-top antics, even thought Vince was being extra. And I just want to say, I know I got pushback when I said Ashley was likely going to win it if she took Vince, and then bam, there it was. And the people were coming in and saying, haven't you seen Jury? They were pro-Vince. For the record, also, I don't think the jury was bitter at all. Nicole Franzel posted that and then scrubbed it. I mean, to be honest, Vince is kind of the barely male version of Nicole. Her whining Corey all season long was totally like Vince bawling to Morgan and everybody else. What the jury wanted was accountability. And if Vince had really listened to the tone and the intent of the questions he was asked by the jurors, he might have done better. Problem was, he lied all season long and thought he could keep doing it. Lying to the jury cost him big. And Ashley flourished under those jury questions. And it's not just the lawyer in her. She did play a more honest game, a better social game. And of course, you can play a shady game and win. But for Vince to look at the jurors and insist that his tears were real and not own his gameplay, bad move. If he had embraced what he did and Vince said, yeah, I cried, I lied, I did it. I did what I had to do to get right here, he might have done better. I still don't think he would have won. Also, in case you've not heard, that one vote he got from Morgan was a sympathy vote. She wanted to vote for Ashley. Also, for the record, I think Julie really wanted Vince to win. She didn't look happy that Ashley won. Julie also tried to heap all the cheatments blame on Morgan. Just in my personal opinion, Julie is an enabler and an apologist for awful men. She even gave more time than I thought she should to Vince on finale night after Ashley won. What's scary is when Julie said Vince won the $75K, he said that's more than he's ever earned in his whole life. He lives in California. Minimum wage there has been $15 an hour for a while. In LA, it's almost $18 an hour right now. But let's stick to $15. Picture this. Vince wins $75,000. That's the equivalent of 2.5 years of full-time 40-hour-a-week work. Just 2.5 years. He is 34. So he should have been working, assuming he went to college, for at least the last, say, 10 to 12 years. I'm a numbers nerd, so statistically speaking, Vince is lazy and whiny. The math proves it. Don't tell me Starbucks, McDonald's, Subway isn't hiring. That man is intentionally and chronically unemployed. I hope his parents tell him to take his $75,000 and go. But of course, it's only going to be about half that once he pays California taxes, unless, of course, he's still a dependent on his parents' income taxes. I think that might be likely. By the way, if you didn't see it, Ashley posted, there's truly no better feeling than beating a crybaby in a 6-1 vote. Should have gotten me out at week 1. And then Vince acting in his exit interviews like he didn't betray Kelsey was like, really? Morgan also got grilled, and she kept using the phrase strictly platonic to describe her and Vince, and said the whole Zingbot thing shocked her. Also, Vince has been seen out and about in LA with Kelsey this week, driving her car, of course. I don't know if he's got one. Vince and Kelsey were running some errands, and that included hitting the bank. I wonder if Kelsey demanded Vince refund her for 7 years of covering their dates. I mean, you know, safe to say, despite Ashley winning $750,000, the real winner of BB27 is Kelsey, because she evicted Vince from her life. Also this week, Morgan posted an Insta story, and it was 2 DRs where she was talking, and then cut between it was just her looking fabulous, different shots around the house, and she was boxing in the BB gym. So the 2 verbal pieces of it was her saying she's been loyal and honest and said, keep poking the bear and see what the bear does. And then her boxing in the gym. And then another DR where she says, quote, I don't know what he's doing, but I hope he gets his shit together, respectfully, end quote. And then it repeated that phrase one more time. So to me, that sounds like Morgan also saying to Vince, bye-bye. I also loved seeing Keanu win AFP. He was genuinely stunned and grateful. I was bummed his locks weren't down. He had the mega bun up on the finale, but probably trying not to scare Kelly. So to see Ava standing there watching him get that AFP, trying not to crap herself in that terrible dress, it was momentous. I hope to see Keanu on the challenge. I would honestly be glad to see him back for BB 29 or BB 28 and 29. So this is also the point where the house guests, of course, start finding out who said what about them. If you recall, Vince said Ashley winning would be the worst thing in the world, and Vince said other things too. And apparently Ashley's ticked that he said she was stupid. Zach said that. Meanwhile, Vince is boo-hooing about Morgan revealing she was going to cut him at Final 3 and finding out that she said her vote was a sympathy vote only. And Vince is getting the cold shoulder from Morgan for now, distancing herself. Hopefully she won't get with Beanie Baby, but that's on her. If she does, she knows what she's stepping into. Some more Big Brother tea. If you remember how Catherine's family was so worried, they dropped some comments here. They said they contacted CBS production about Riley's behavior and they were vowing to protect Catherine. Well, we saw Riley at the finale. I told you guys I was wondering if he would be there, and Catherine said they were together. Well, streets are saying she is with Riley and is estranged from her very worried family over pursuing whatever this thing is they have. There's a funny pic from a Jimmy live with comments. You can look at Catherine's face when somebody came in and asked, does Catherine like being a stepmom? That just killed me. Also, Jimmy, of course, has been having a lot of fun at Vince's expense, doing cameos in a beanie and a mustache, pretending to be him. And Vince found out that Kelsey dumped him reportedly from other house guests on the stage right at the finale moment when they walked out, because Jimmy had told everybody else on the stage that Kelsey had dumped him. So, wah. Also, some fun stuff. Morgan has limited who she's following on her socials to the Judges Alliance, Keanu, and even Kelly. People seem surprised by the Morgan Kelly thing, but I'm not, because Morgan tucked her into bed every night. Ashley also talked some smack about production for giving her such a bad edit so that casuals had no clue who she was and the strategy she was working all season long. Ashley said she laid it all out in the DR and they didn't air it. I was saying it here and I was seeing people in the comments, no, she's dumb. They didn't believe she was a lawyer. And I'm like, she was. I even went and, browsed her LinkedIn and everything. So I'm still seeing a ton of people on socials saying that Vince was robbed and he deserved to win. I don't know what to say to that other than, really? I think he deserves nothing but a booger-filled beanie for crying into it all season long, and I think he's lucky he got $75,000. And Ashley remains smart for cutting Morgan. I don't think Ashley could have beaten Morgan. Might have been close, but I don't think she would have won. Ashley and Morgan remain close, by the way, and very supportive of each other. And another shocker, Kelly really does have a boyfriend. I thought for sure the Corey of which she spoke was a moth she had trapped in a jar or something. Also, Eric Stein said there was supposed to be more mastermind stuff, more eliminations, but because fan reaction was so big and so vitriolic, they scrapped it. That's why we had that momentum at the end, because they were like scrambling around because they weren't using what they had planned to do because people freaked out. So nice to know that our complaints are heard by CBS and they occasionally heed them. Rachel and Keanu's frenemies vibe continues. She followed and unfollowed him in a 2-hour span just today. Funny enough, Rachel follows Kelly and Ava, who called her the C word, and they were both talking crap about her family. Rachel also reposted that crazy interview where Kelly was saying she and Rachel played similar games, and Rachel's response to it was just, huh? And she is working on her Survivor audition tape. I cannot wait to see it. It'd be funny if she showed up on Fiji Island in a gown. And Keanu was asked about life in the jury house, and he joked it was great because he had his own bathroom and could pee on the floor all he wanted. So just FYI, the real culprit on the floor peeing is supposedly Vince. During one of his stay up all night anxiety sessions, if you watch the feeds when he used to pace around the house all alone at night, fold laundry, just being weird, people said he was going in there and peeing in the dark. At least he didn't pee into his beanie that we know of. Here's my final takeaway from BB27. I do think the casting was really weird. This was a bunch of people that were playing Big Baby and not Big Brother. Way too much hugging, way too many tears from the guys in the game. That being said, the edits CBS did for the episodes sucked. They had, I think, pre-picked who they thought was going to win and focused on them, and they covered up bad behavior. We've seen that in past seasons. Like the platinum edit that the crazy cowboy got was just balls out insane to me. At the same time, the live feeds for BB27 were fire. Morgan and Vince up all night was like watching a BBC documentary on the desperate beta male trying to hump on the queen of the jungle and getting pushed back behind a pillow wall. The feeds I thought were great. The edited episodes were not. And if BB28 comes with no live feeds and instead we only get BB Unlocked, I say we all head to LA to the Paramount backlot and riot. Forget wall yellers. We need to just rip it down so we can watch for ourselves if they're not going to give us live feeds next season. Big Brother without the feeds is like watching Rocky Horror Picture Show at home alone without the crowds and the props. It would be lame. Fingers crossed, BB28 casting is messy and cast better and has feeds, but I absolutely applaud that Ashley won the game and Keanu won AFP, and thanks for everybody who came here and listened all season long. And hey, don't dump the subscription. There is going to be more content coming.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.